America's tourism industry was once a diamond-studded cake, rich, vibrant, and celebrated around the world. Today, it looks more like a stale dessert, left forgotten in the back of the fridge of the U.S. economy. Airfares are soaring, services are shrinking, and travelers? They're disappearing. If you think American tourism is still thriving, ask a few travel companies if they even have enough money to print brochures. Some are now selling memory tours, where you sit at home and scroll through photos of when hotels were open and staff still smiled. In this video, we'll uncover 10 tourism giants that once formed the backbone of American travel but are now cracking under pressure. And if they're not rescued soon, they may become relics of a lost era. This is more than just a story of canceled vacations. It's about the collapse of trust and the quiet unraveling of an industry that once sold dreams. Let's begin. 1. Carnival Cruise Line, from dream to drifting. The largest cruise ship in America now sails at just 10% capacity. Once a symbol of affordable luxury for millions of retirees, Carnival was more than a cruise line. It was a lifestyle. But in 2025, that dream is quietly sinking. Empty cabins, canceled voyages, and $3 billion in losses in just the first quarter of the year. One Florida couple, both in their 60s, saved for 3 years for a Caribbean cruise, only to get a cold email. Your cruise has been canceled due to insufficient capacity. No refund, no compensation, just silence. Cruise insurers are reevaluating risks. Travel agents are walking away, and Carnival's once stable empire now floats in uncertain waters. 2. Expedia, the digital travel giant that's crashing. Expedia used to be the gateway to your next vacation, but in 2025, over 20 million bookings vanished in just one quarter. Its stock has plummeted by over 60%. Employees have been laid off without warning, and partner hotels are cutting ties due to delayed payments. A retired woman booked 5 hotels for a cross-country trip. Every reservation changed, downgraded, or canceled. She said, "I didn't just lose money, I lost trust." As consumers lose faith, travel insurance firms and legal aid services are seeing a surge. The message is clear. If Expedia can fall, who's safe anymore? 3. TripAdvisor and Viator. For years, TripAdvisor was the go-to hub for real reviews and hidden gems. But now, Viator, its tour platform, is under fire for advertising phantom tours. Travelers show up to locations only to discover there's no tour, no guide, no refund. Some listings still remain live, even after the actual tour providers quit the platform years ago. One Charleston historian deactivated his listing in 2023, yet bookings continued in 2025, leaving him to handle confused and angry tourists. TripAdvisor built its brand on trust. But as AI-generated content floods the platform and legal gray areas grow, users are left wondering, what's real anymore? 4. Delta Vacations, the airline giant's failing side project. Delta Airlines remains strong in the skies, but its vacation division falling fast. In Q1 of 2025 alone, Delta Vacations reported $480 million in losses. Tour cancellations, failing resort partnerships, and a collapse in bookings are pushing the brand toward potential separation from the main airline. One retired engineer who heavily invested in Delta stock after COVID said, "I wasn't worried about a vacation. I was worried about losing 40% of my savings." The message is loud. Americans no longer trust bundled travel, and even a name like Delta isn't immune to that distrust. 5. G Adventures. Where did responsible travel go? G Adventures sold itself as travel with purpose, connecting people through cultural experiences. But in 2025, hundreds of local guides in Southeast Asia and Latin America were cut off without notice. No schedule updates, no calls, no severance. One Vietnamese guide shared, "They told us we were partners, but when the bookings stopped, so did the emails. G's signature programs, like National Geographic Journeys, are now struggling. With American bookings collapsing, 60% of their tour programs have shut down. Responsible travel can't exist if it's only sustainable for the company, not the communities. 6. Amtrak Vacations, the slow train to nowhere. Train travel once symbolized peaceful, scenic journeys. In 2025, it's become a logistical gamble. Amtrak quietly cut several long-distance vacation routes without notice, leaving elderly passengers stranded. A couple celebrating 45 years of marriage found their hotel canceled mid-trip. Their luggage shipped to the wrong state. Freight is now a bigger priority than passengers. Tourist stations are shutting down, and Amtrak Vacations revenue has dropped 83% in just 2 years. When scenic rail becomes unreliable, what options remain for seniors who once relied on it? Airbnb experiences, the death of local touch. Airbnb once empowered locals to offer unique cultural experiences, but in 2025, thousands of listings have disappeared without warning. A Hawaiian elder who taught lei-making for years saw her bookings dry up. Then one day, her profile vanished. Airbnb's algorithm now favors corporate-run experiences. Many small hosts, especially older or non-English speakers, are being locked out for not meeting video or engagement quotas. If algorithms now dictate authenticity, what happens to real human stories? 8. Allianz Travel Insurance. Trust denied. Peace of mind, that's why people buy travel insurance. But in 2025, thousands of retirees discovered that fine print is more powerful than promises. Susan, 68, spent $4,300 on a cruise and bought Allianz coverage. When the company went bankrupt, Allianz denied her claim due to a clause about non-partner providers. She said, "I didn't just lose my vacation, I lost my sense of security." Denied claims are up 38%. Allianz's market value dropped over $5 billion in 8 months. Travelers are now demanding third-party policy reviews and legal backup before buying protection. 9. TUI Group, the quiet exit from America. TUI, Europe's largest tour operator, once connected Americans to every corner of the continent. But in 2025, it quietly exited the U.S. market. No bankruptcy, no farewell. Just a quiet shutdown. U.S. bookings collapsed by 43%. Offices were closed. Staff were dismissed via Zoom. One former travel advisor said, "We helped people explore the world. Now we're the ones stuck, grounded without notice." TUI now focuses solely on intra-European markets. Their message is clear. America isn't worth the risk anymore. 10. Rhodes Scholar, the vanishing dream of lifelong learning. Rhodes Scholar gave meaning to retirement, education through exploration, but in 2025, over 60% of their programs were suspended. Rising costs, cancellations, and low enrollment wiped out decades of dreams. Margaret, 72, saved for 4 years to study Renaissance art in Florence. 2 months before departure, her program was canceled. No disaster, no pandemic, just budget cuts. Communities that relied on these educational trips, local historians, small museums, rural colleges, are now suffering in silence. When even learning-based travel gets cut, what kind of future are we offering our elders? Travel was never just about getting away. It was about connection, across borders, across generations, across stories.